Okay, so what I was going to say is, dear Steam, why are you still suggesting that I subscribe to Total Biscuit's curations? He's dead. Like, oh, I wonder what Total Biscuit thinks about Bloodstained. He doesn't think anything. He's dead. One day, Steam is going to turn into just like a graveyard of just dead people's accounts recommending games, and I don't want that.
I think there was a tweet that said something like, in his dying days, like he was thinking about Fortnite and talking about it in his sleep.
Oh no, that's sad.
Like, oh no. Oh no.
God.
Get Graham out of that Discord.
No.
No, I like him there.
Never let Graham leave. Bury him in a car-shaped coffin.
No, that's like that woman down the road from me who mummified her own mother.
Yeah, you got to taxiderm it and then keep it sitting in its chair.
No, you don't.
I got 2 people for kick him out, 2 people for keep him.
No, keep.
I think the keep people are just louder.
I think the important thing is, like, people will join our community and people will be like, who is Graham and why is he a bot and why doesn't he do anything? And then we'll get to reminisce about Graham and, yeah, rip Graham.
Rip Graham.
I just can't let go. It's like we're keeping his ashes.
Yeah, keeping him on the shelf, you know, until one day Animich comes home and accidentally knocks it off and then glues it back together poorly and you get all sorts of lint and stuff in Graham's ashtray.
Is Animich like a protagonist from a bad Ben Stiller movie?
Hello and welcome. That's right. Rock me, baby. Baby. Rock me, baby. Baby. That's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Hey, it's me, Mario, from the popular video game series Super Mario Bros. You're listening to Gentlemen Discussing Video
Ladies
from lunchtime.org.uk. Wahoo! Hello and welcome to Gentlemen Discussing Video. I'm Specs, with me today, Catsman,
What was his name? Uncle Chuckles?
Mooglepies,
It's Uncle Fuckles.
Shinymissingno,
I don't have a joke to follow up.
and Woolyshambler.
It's Uncle Cracker.
What?
Oh, God.
So we'll start off with comments. There shouldn't be too many because we only released the last podcast like a week ago. So
Quake is good. Whoever said Quake was bad, they're wrong. Quake is good.
I don't think anyone said Quake was bad.
Someone said Quake was bad.
Oh yeah, no. I used to think Quake was fun until I played it again as an adult, and now it's not in fact fun at all.
I suggest you metamorphosize to the next stage of your life, the one after being an adult, where you become enlightened and like Quake again.
That commenter also got all of my sound clips in between segments, so he can have a Spoint, or she can have a Spoint, or they can have a Spoint. Someone wants you to do a badly edited video on id's history. Catsman?
Just read the book Masters of Doom. It's a really good book. I was glued to that book. I literally read the whole thing in 2 sittings.
Can we get you narrating, like an audiobook version of Masters of Doom with you doing the Pat Guy voice?
What, do you want to kill me?
Yes.
Do you think they'd ever do a Masters of Doom film?
There's probably one in development. Who would play who? Who would play who? Go on, give me your suggestions.
Benedict Cumberbatch as Carmack.
It's appropriate, I'm not gonna lie.
Carmack looks distinctly more human than Benedict Cumberbatch.
True, but he acts distinctly less human than most people.
Yeah.
Who would play Ramiro?
Who's like a washed up actor who can correctly portray Ramiro? No offense, Ramiro, he's cool, but you would have to get someone reasonably washed up, right?
Jack Black.
It's a terrible idea.
Exactly. That's why it'll work.
Let's fund it.
If Jack Black is Romero, can we just have Kyle Gass as Cormac?
That'd be quite fun, actually, yeah. It can be a musical. They can write Doom the Musical. Masters of the Doomsicle.
Doomsicle.
Masters of Doom, though, ultimately it's a sad story, isn't it? Because it's a story about how John Carmack is a fucking sociopath.
I mean, he is.
Other comments. We've got a comment from, I assume, one of the makers of Pat Guy on the Pat Guy video, who says he's sorry he didn't respond to you with the voice acting, and he did mean to do it, but he had other stuff on.
Oh, really? I haven't read that one.
Yeah, I'll read it out to you. I'm sorry for not responding to your last email asking for voice acting. I fully intended to do it, then I got busy and fully forgot until I saw this on Brian and Jerry's Twitter feeds, though I am happy with this result as I am loving the replacement voice acting. So, well done on that.
As some of you may know, my life is a disaster, and I wake up at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then I go into work at like midnight and just work all through the night until the next day. Like I say, life is a disaster. So I just spent at work like 2 a.m. while working, just repeatedly saying things in Pat Guy's voice. Just for hours.
Can you do it on command now?
No. But give me something to say in Pat Guy's voice. I haven't done it in ages.
Can you say, hello and welcome to Gentlemen Discussing Video?
Hello and yeah, that is kind of what he sounds like. Hello and welcome to That'll be one cat Spoint, please.
You can have a Spoint for that. We've got a comment on the Yonoid interview that it is an inspiring game and interview, which I like. It's inspiring.
It is inspiring.
It really is. It's a good game. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it. Then there's a load of comments on Pocket Monster Manual. We got a comment that says, I hate this.
He's reacting badly to it.
He's reacting badly to it.
Can we talk about this? There's a video on this channel that if you're listening to this and you haven't watched, you need to watch because it has a kind of Zen quality to it.
He hates it.
He hates it.
He hates it.
Look at him writhe.
Look at him
He
writhe.
hates it.
He hates it.
He hates it.
He's reacting badly to it.
He absolutely hates it.
He hates it.
It got funnier every time I watched it.
He hates it.
Don't let your bottom stick out.
That's it for comments, really. So, do we want to do news and get that out of the way, and then we can do fun things?
Okay, but we are speedrunning it, just so you know.
Okay, so one thing I know that we want to kind of bitch about a bit is PC storage requirements.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So Red Dead Redemption is going to be 150 gigabytes on PC, and there was another game coming out soon that's got similar storage requirements.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's over 100 gig as well, isn't it?
It's a bit complicated because I think they said 175, but then they backpedaled and said that's going to be the size once they've released all the DLC.
So even if you have all the storage space in the world, you've still got to consider how long is it going to take you to download these games, which is potentially the more worrying thing for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like if you're living in an area that has a good internet connection, you're fine. But if you're somewhere slightly rural, then you don't deserve to play video games, and you should spend your time learning how to read.
Because presumably these games are not like available on disc to be installed from disc.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah, because they don't do that anymore, do they?
The reason you don't get games on disc anymore is because they realize that if they don't put it on the disc, then the developers can keep working on it until like a day before the game comes out, rather than having to finish a few months early so they can press all the discs.
There's also the fact that games consoles now have Blu-ray disc drives, but the like 99.9% of PC owners don't have a Blu-ray drive on their PC.
Okay.
So like you'd be spending a shit ton of money just pressing DVDs. In order to install, let's say, Call of Duty at 100 gigabytes, you would need 20 DVDs or like probably 10, 11 dual layer DVDs. At which point, like, what are you doing?
Mad, isn't it? God, I remember Sims 2 being 4 discs, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I can only imagine, like...
Oh, was that Sims 2? Was that CDs Sims 2 came on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 4 CDs.
Well, in peak floppy disk era, I remember games coming on like maybe 6 maximum floppy disks.
Mm.
And Lemmings 2 had 4 on the Amiga, I seem to remember.
Oh, but Amiga games were terrible because you couldn't just install the game.
No, you
I
couldn't.
remember playing Amiga games where you'd open it, go to the menu, and the game would be like, insert another disc,
Yep.
and then you'd insert another disc, it'd play a cinematic, and then it'd be like, insert another disc. And you're like, just don't have those things if I have to continually flip discs.
I had one game, I think it was, where there was like a voice synthesized prompt for please insert disc 2. And I'm thinking, like, how much space did you take up with the voice synthesized please insert disc 2 that you could have saved
Love it.
otherwise?
Love
Because,
it.
like, voice synthesizers at that point, like it wasn't on the machine. It would have had to have been recorded as a sample, which would have taken, like, a huge amount of space at the time. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
So anyway, the point is that hard drives have gotten bigger, right? Specs has like a terabyte of storage in his computer or something. That's fucking bullshit. That's less than I had like more than 10 years ago.
Yep.
However, 10 years ago, you would have had like, 500 gigs to 2 terabytes? Now, if you build a PC, I'd say the median is like 1 to 5 terabytes
Yeah.
for like a gaming PC. So like games used to be 8 gigabytes and now they're 60 gigabytes. That's not scaled correctly.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from like uncompressed sound and uncompressed like full motion video and stuff like that, doesn't it? So the thing is, I feel like we're getting to the point where people need to have 2 download options where they can say, I will have my music, my sound, whatever, compressed to, I don't know, 200 kilobytes per second or whatever, versus I want the FLAC, I want the WAV, I want whatever it's in. And that would cut down so much on the space, I think, because that's where it is, right?
Yeah.
That would be interesting, actually, if when you downloaded a game, it asked you like what graphic settings you wanted beforehand.
Yeah.
But then you don't always know.
But let's say I'm a person who doesn't have a 4K TV. I'm not planning to upgrade to 4K at any point, so I know I only want 1080p like maximum. So if I could download textures that are at a resolution that matches my screen rather than get all of the textures from, like low resolution to the high res ones, then that would work a lot better, right?
Yeah, it's rubbish. And I feel like Rockstar at this point, they're just like, well, if our game isn't 60 gigabytes, people will think the game world isn't huge.
People will think they're being cheated.
Yeah. Where's my 20 gigabytes of extra stuff, Rockstar? You promised.
Man.
This problem doesn't just apply to PC gamers, because recent news... The Outer Worlds, the new game from Obsidian, if you buy it on a disc, you still need to download a 38 gig day one patch.
Shock.
Oh.
Fuck's sake.
Well, it's the same thing. So you can press the disc earlier and still have the devs working on the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Stupid.
With that exhausted, the major news of the now is Blizzard, Hong Kong, China. I'm not sure if we can add much more to the conversation, but does anyone want to talk about it?
They're fucked. They're fucked if they do, and they're fucked if they don't. There's no way for them to make a good decision.
BlizzCon's gonna be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be entertaining.
I remember people talking last year, like a red shirt guy, like, yeah, he's nothing. He's nothing compared to this.
He is, it's true.
I think the highlights for me of this, just the little things that people might not know about, is Blizzard made 25% of their revenue from China last year, so major chunk. Obviously, they want to pander to China because of that a little bit. The statements they have released in America differ very much from what they've released in China, where their China Weibo, which is like Chinese Twitter from what I understand, they've said, we support the Chinese government, things like that in relation to what's happened. Whereas to the American audience, they've obviously tried to appease the American audience. And what was the other thing that I wanted to highlight about it?
Is it the politicians by any chance?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, some politicians have written to Blizzard and said, knock it off. You're making American business look bad. There's like 5 or 6 senators in the US have written to Blizzard.
Yeah. It's bipartisan as well, so it's not like on one side of their political system. It's like both sides.
No, they all hate China.
It's weird, isn't it, really? Like, that people on both sides of the political spectrum are united in disliking the Chinese government just for different reasons.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Blizzard have like 10 tenets or like 10 slogans, mottos, whatever you want to say. One of them is every voice matters.
It's a bit dangerous, that one. If you're not gonna stick to it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Woohoo!
The employees at one of Blizzard's like headquarters, bases of operation, whatever you want to say, have like covered that up on a statue that's like
there's like a statue with like a plaque.
Oh wow.
Yes.
It's on a metal plaque on a metal statue, and they've just like covered it over.
It's like engraved.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Like I can't English.
This is engraved, and they've just like scrubbed over that bit. It's like it just goes straight from rule 4 to rule 6.
Yeah.
Every voice matters, but the ones with money matter more. It's like, yeah, okay, lad, some matter more than others.
The other thing is that the phrase "Free Hong Kong" or "Liberate Hong Kong" is banned on Blizzard's Twitch account. Now you can't type it in chat or you get timed out. Okay, next. Steam is doing their own version of Parsec.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We'll see how it goes.
Soon you will be able to stream your Steam games that only have couch co-op to your friends, and then they will be able to play with you across the internet on these couch-only co-op games. Parsec already does this and does it for all games, not just Steam games. We'll see which is better, I guess.
Well, you can probably do it through games that you launch through Steam that aren't Steam games.
I did think that, yeah, it might work.
I mean, Steam's always had, well, not always, but for a couple of years now had that, like, you can stream just to your friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
That nobody really used.
I used it a couple of times, but now they're adding in, like, the interactivity, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe this is biased because I haven't really used Steam and Steam browser for quite a few years. But is it not still shit?
It gets worse with every iteration, just like YouTube does.
Yeah.
So
There's a big fucking delay, so...
yeah. So I feel like this will not work because Steam, like, functions do not function.
Next up, the gift that keeps on giving, Fallout 76.
Oh, what's happened now? I haven't heard anything about it in ages.
Still up?
So the pre-order helmets that you could get, they have been recalled because they grow mold.
Ha ha.
Ah.
Also, they've delayed, like, one of the last pieces of DLC from, like, right about now until, like, I don't know, was it February next year? January next year?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
Wow. I love it. I just love it. I've not heard anything about Fallout 76 in months, so I'm very glad that this has happened because I've missed it.
Like, other people's misfortune is just making me feel better.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Schadenfreude. It's great.
You'd think they'd learned their lessons about cutting corners by now, but no.
Did people ever even like end up getting the canvas bags that ended up being plastic?
I think people did, yeah. I think they went and redid that.
They actually went and made them, yeah.
Yeah, in the end, I think, but it's just been bad. It's like the worst launch in history until we got Anthem. So there was an article that came up about some plagiarism in a Paradox mobile game. It's just got like a picture in the background of some of the scenes that is just the hangar from Halo 1.
Ooh.
So that's been pulled and has had to go back on it. But I wanted to maybe talk a bit about other examples of plagiarism in video games, if anyone is interested.
Yes.
Wasn't there that, the one from Oblivion? I seem to remember.
Okay, so I think the one you're talking about is Limbo of the Lost is the name of the video game, I think, that you might be thinking of.
Ah, Limbo of the Lost.
Yeah, that's the one.
Limbo of the Lost is crazy because practically all of the assets in the game, it's like a point-and-click adventure, but all of the assets in the game are taken from Oblivion, Morrowind,
Yeah.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Unreal Tournament. Like, everything is just reused from somewhere. Thief the Dark Project as well, and it is the biggest example of plagiarism in video games ever. It's crazy.
Well, I don't think plagiarism is really that bad. Like, what is human culture if not mindlessly remixing things that have already existed?
Other examples that are great, there was a big one in Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3.
Ooh.
So this is a fighting game based on Dragon Ball Z. The lead composer was fired after this came out, but every song in the game is based on either a rock song or, strangely enough, the item select music is based on September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
I remember.
Shut up.
It's about a month ago now, in fact. So I can still remember very clearly.
The main theme is a complete rip-off of a song by a metal band called Stratovarius. There's songs that are rips off of Disturbed songs. Like, every piece of music in it is just...
Again, like, song plagiarism, like, I'm pretty sure this is like a legal discussion that we've had. Like, you can't say that because two songs are very similar that they're plagiarized from one another.
These were exactly the same.
It's not that it's just got like similar chord progressions and things like that. It's literally the same song.
But I mean, most of the Doom soundtrack is just slightly rearranged versions of like hair metal music.
But the guy who composed the Doom soundtracks, from what I've heard, was like a law major anyway, and he knew just enough, like just how much he needed to tweak things that he wouldn't get sued by like Metallica and Megadeth and the people he was ripping off.
Because they love suing people now.
Yes,
they were
they do.
counterculture back in the day, but now they got theirs and fuck everyone else.
One of the best ones, which has a really interesting story, is Punch-Out on the Wii. So in Punch-Out on the Wii, I think it's Piston Hondo, he's reading a book at one point, like a manga. There is an actual manga on the other side of the book that you can't see in-game, but that you can see if you like use camera hacks and stuff. And the manga he's reading is Sailor Moon.
Oh, classic.
It's just a rumor, but someone who claimed to be from the team that made the game said that this was put in as a joke. It was discovered like as the game was printing, essentially, and Nintendo were really scared that they were going to get sued if it ever came out. So they may have licensed Sailor Moon for Punch-Out on the Wii.
Oh, love it.
And it apparently cost like Nintendo and who made that?
Next Level Games.
Next Level, yeah. It cost the two companies $2 million or something like that.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's nothing for Nintendo.
It isn't, but at the same time, like, they probably took that out of like Next Levels.
That's probably more than the budget of that Punch-Out game, because it wasn't a big game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would have gotten sued for that. I'm pretty sure reproducing just a single, it probably comes under fair use. I don't know. What do I know?
They're not really that hardcore about like protecting IP in Japan as much as in the West.
I thought they were.
Are they?
Yeah, I thought they were really crazy about it.
I feel like I see shit get ripped off a lot.
Piracy is like a really bad crime in Japan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that's a different.
Isn't that the reason why people think Mother 3 never came out in Western territories, is because they were worried about like music sounding the same and stuff?
Oh yeah, because
No, but like Earthbound's got a lot more references to contemporary music than Mother 3, and that was re-released, so I don't think so.
the big deal about Earthbound was that it had a song that was just Johnny B. Good.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
Just the Frank Fly's fight theme.
But it had other like things that were like really long samples taken from other songs, or
Yeah, there's bits of Beatles tracks and stuff in some of it, I think.
Yeah, there's lots of Sgt. Pepper in there.
Mother 3 borrows mostly from classical music, to be honest.
Mother 3's best song, though, is the Mr. Batty fight, which is the Batman theme.
Oh yes! Oh, it's so good.
That's definitely within parody laws.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Okay, next news. 2,500 DOS games are now playable at archive.org.
Yep.
Yeah!
They have been for a while, or at least archive.org have been slowly dribbling out DOS games.
Also, the Blade Runner point and click is there, and it's worth playing, so go do it.
Yes, it is.
Blade Runner point and click.
You can play all of them in browser as well, which is really cool. Other news, there was possible news of Okami sequel, maybe. Who knows what's going on with that?
No, it's just we would like to do this, please let us do this. Like, it's not a thing that they were announcing or anything.
I hope they are permitted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the unassailable might of money is wearing away Capcom's various vendettas against its ex-developers.
I don't know if I think that's true. Like, again, I mentioned this, like, I think in Discord, like, it might just be my possibly misguided interpretation of, like, foreign culture. But I have a feeling like they're not going to forgive that for quite some time.
The thing is, though, Capcom are talking about resurrecting some of their series now that they're on top of the world after a few good game releases. What if they outsource an Okami sequel development to Platinum? Do you think that could happen?
No.
I doubt it.
I personally feel like there is enough of a like, fuck you, you left us, fuck you, that I don't think they will.
They'd do it internally, but, like... They've done a lot of stuff internally that's been, like, decently mediocre, like Mega Man 11, so, yeah.
And they made Monster Hunter World, which has made them so much fucking money, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And they did Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, Devil May Cry has done okay. Like, they're doing well, but I have a feeling that rather than outsource it, they would probably, like, rather... like, hire new people or get some of their newer people more experience by doing it internally. In the same way that Nintendo did, like, Splatoon with a different team to kind of level it up to, like, the big leagues.
Honestly, I hope Platinum don't get to touch Okami, because if there's one thing I've learned about Platinum in playing Platinum's post-Okami games, is that they do not learn from their mistakes. Every game that they make has the same problems with it that they just refuse to fix.
I think you view them as problems, but they're like die-hard fans who they mostly cater to will see them as positives.
Like what? Do we have what kind of things you mean?
Like, overabundance of pointless dialogue is one of them. Janky play control is another, and and a really weird hard division between combat and non-combat scenarios where, like, when you go into combat, like, an arena appears around you and you can't, like, leave combat.
Okay.
You say that that's like post-Okami, but that's literally Okami that you've just described there.
Yeah, that's in Okami, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, post-Okami Platinum games have the same problems.
But that's because it's made entirely of the same people.
Yeah. Well, there are issues with the game design and they should fix them. And I really think that the reason they don't fix them is because they're too arrogant to believe that they've got it wrong.
Well, they are, but they also sell to a very dedicated set of people who love buying those games because of that.
Which is why they never make any money.
I mean, that is true, and like, I get that, and they probably get that as well, in fairness. So, like, why change it, I guess?
To make more money.
Well, do what you're passionate about, and that was the whole point of Platinum, was that they would probably make more money with Capcom, but they were sick and tired of Capcom saying, no, do this instead, so they went and made their own thing.
The thing with, let's say, Capcom making Okami versus Platinum making Okami is, Platinum has all the talent that was on Okami, like, not all of it, but the director, the producer, the art director, and the lead designer are all at Platinum, so Capcom likely don't have any of the old blood that worked on Okami.
Sometimes I want new blood. Would Nintendo have made anything good this generation if they'd relied entirely on whatever bullshit idea Shigeru Miyamoto came up with?
I mean, technically speaking, yeah, probably, but it wouldn't have been things that we want to play.
Fair.
But yeah, so Kamiya was on a stream, like, not last night, the night before, with, like, a Resident Evil 2 speedrunner doing commentary on the game, and he kept talking about, like, his influences and the things he likes and things he doesn't like. So basically, he oversaw Resident Evil 1 and directed Resident Evil 2, and he can't watch horror films because he finds them too scary. Like, put that in your mind for a second, and this is the kind of man that you're talking about.
In other eCeleb news, Harada, the guy who runs Tekken, has been yelling at people on Twitter because they've been spamming him with requests for people to put into Smash Bros.
We fucking love the Smash community, never change.
So, because he is, like, high up at Bandai Namco, and Bandai Namco are obviously working on Smash. He has just gone on a Twitter rant about the fact that people just constantly spam Sakurai and Bandai Namco with things like, please put Sora in the game. Like, he gave specific characters. And he said, I will specifically be asking Mr. Sakurai not to put these characters in the game because you've done this. Every time I get annoyed by spam, I will send a new request to the team at Sora not to, like, put these characters into the game.
I fucking love Harada. He's so fucking funny. Like, he's one of those developers, a bit like Kamir, who just doesn't give a fuck about what other people think about his games. So you tell him that he's made a mistake, and like he's prideful, I guess, is probably about it. He's like, yeah, and that's what I wanted to do, so I did it. Fuck you. I respect that as a thing. Like, okay.
Also, Smash fans are never happy. Fuck them. Come on.
That's also true.
I am a big Smash fan, and I'm happy at the moment. I think, with Ultimate.
Where's Earthworm Jim?
Shut up about Earthworm Jim!
No!
That's it. Feel your waist muscles tightening.
I really need a better title for this segment.
No, you don't.
Like, what is the actual title of this?
Find the Fuckle.
Find the Fuckle, yeah, exactly.
I guess it's Find the Fuckle forever. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to send one of you a wee Discord message, and that message will tell you that you're the Fuckle, and it will be your job to get questions wrong. The rest of you are all on a team together, and it's your job to get questions right. And at the end of the questioning, you have to work out who the Fuckle is.
This is a great game, because I'll get everything wrong regardless.
So the interesting thing about this game is that because I know who's going to be on it, I actually write questions that I think specific people will know the answers to.
Oh.
Are there any additional rules to how we played it last time? I know we were considering adding a duckle or other things to this game.
I have not added them yet, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Whoever suggested the various additional Fuckle rules, they will be added, but I may wait until we have a Fuckle game with more people or something, or just when I can be bothered. Okay, one of you has received a message that tells you that they're the Fuckle.
Fuckle vision.
Fuckle vision.
The secret third Fuckle brother, Muckle Fuckle.
Super Fuckle bros.
Okay, ready? No conferring. Answer is as just blurt something out as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm.
id Software was founded by 2 Carmacks and 2 Johns and 1 other person. Who is the other person? Okay, null points for that one. Moving on. How many stars are there in Super Mario Galaxy?
120.
That is incorrect. There is 121.
Ah.
Oh. Isn't it technically 242?
I wasn't including Luigi in that. What is the name of the castle in Amnesia: The Dark Descent?
Oh!
Brandenburg.
Happy Man is correct. It is indeed Castle Brandenburg.
I just played that like 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Happy Man answered, so we now don't know. We don't have the information as to whether the others would have answered it. What's the name of the old hint guy in Link's Awakening?
Sarah Sahla.
Happy Man is incorrect. It's actually Ulrira.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sahasrara's in Link to the Past, isn't he?
Yeah. How many years ago is Left 4 Dead released?
Oh, God.
12.
11.
I have to take Moogle's answer because he was first, and unfortunately he's wrong, and Happy Man was right.
Oh, no, it's because... it's fine. I went to Eurogamer that year and played it there before it was released. It's fine.
British game developer Gremlin Graphics, famous for Monty on the Run, which is just my fascination today. They would later reform under a different name and develop which kart racing game?
Garfield Kart, but I don't know the name.
It's Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Whoa.
Shit, it's Sumo Digital.
And they made Outrun as well, which is a really fucking good game.
Blows my fucking mind.
I think I'm beginning to sniff out a Fuckle here.
What is the name of the town that Heathcliff lives in?
Oh, fuck.
You know, you said that you were making questions that you thought people would know the answers to. You realise you're not playing, right?
This is a question that only Catsman knows the answer to.
Specs, I've been posting Heathcliff comics in our Discord I've posted literally hundreds of Heathcliff comics.
None of those have said where he lives, I swear.
Did you know that Heathcliff's owner child goes to a school called PS4?
He lives in Pleasantville, why not?
Incorrect. He lives in a town called Westfinster.
I didn't know that.
How many kilobytes of RAM did a Commodore 64 have?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
9.
9? What?
Happy Man yells out 9. The answer is, in fact, 64.
What? I thought it was a trick question.
It's named after the amount of RAM that it had. In Japan, the Family Computer or Famicom launched with 3 games: Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and what third game?
Super Mario Bros?
No, he's wrong. It's Popeye.
What?
Popeye.
Popeye.
It's Popeye. Popeye was like the cornerstone of Nintendo before Mario.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
The original Donkey Kong was supposed to be a Popeye game, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was Popeye popular in Japan in the 80s?
Yo, I was talking about Popeye this morning. When was the last time you saw anything about Popeye? Like, current media?
I remember there was going to be a Popeye movie directed by Gendy Tartakovsky, but it fell through, unfortunately. And he got stuck in Hotel Dracula with Adam Sandler.
I've seen the set that they built for it. It actually looked good.
Was it going to be live action?
Yeah, it was. Was it like live action CG combination?
Yeah, they built this really nice seaside town to shoot it in.
Wasn't there an actual live action Popeye, and wasn't it fucking appalling?
I think so.
Hey, who would you cast to play Popeye?
Jack Black.
You just say Jack Black for everything, don't you?
The motion captured performance of Tom Hanks.
Now that is the correct answer. What is the job of an engineer in barotrauma?
To not open the airlock when people are coming in at the same time and also arriving into the ship.
Manage a power grid.
Happy Man was again correct, but Moogle answered first, so I'm gonna have to not give you the points.
I'm technically correct.
What? Who are you referring to here?
Rusty.
Fucking Rusty when he opened up the airlock when I was coming in.
Oh yeah. Which Sonic CD soundtrack is better?
The American one.
Oh, it's wrong again. You just keep getting everything wrong this game.
Which one would you say then?
It's the European/Japanese one.
Is the American one not the one with the lyrics and stuff?
The Japanese one also has lyrics, but they're better.
Okay.
Which 1992 Sega arcade release constitutes the third Outrun game?
Ooh. Which country is this a release in?
Hang on.
Happy Man is not correct. The answer was...
It was Turbo Outrun, is it?
the answer is Outrunners.
Outrunners. That's 93. 93?
No, Outrunners is 1992.
Hang On is considered a separate series as well, despite being practically the same thing, right?
Mm.
Final question. Spyro the Dragon Homeworlds. Artisans World. Peacekeepers. Magic Crafters. What world comes next?
Mm.
A rare Sony question for you all.
Mm.
Has anyone played Spyro?
No.
I was hoping there would be at least one Sony person in here. Okay.
No.
The answer is Beastmakers. That's all your questions. And at that, you scored a total of 10 points for one question, which was correct. It's now time for you to decide who you think the Fuckle is. And you get 50 points if you identify the Fuckle, so you will actually win if you correctly identify them.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
I reckon it's Specs or Moogle.
Okay, so here's my thinking, right? I reckon it's Shiny, because Shiny is a terrible liar.
I didn't answer anything though, because I didn't know the answers.
Yeah, but you also kept quiet because you knew it wouldn't have been convincing if you had tried to lie and get it wrong.
Oh.
No, because I was going to answer the amnesia one, but Woody got there first because I knew that one.
A likely story.
Happy was quite quiet as well, but at the same time...
Happy got our only points.
He did, exactly, but...
He got the only answers. Yeah, Specs was not convincing, but Moogle interrupted the barotrauma question with an obviously incorrect answer.
Which was, I thought that was taken as a joke, but okay.
Nah, man.
I feel like Moogle also maybe should have known the one about Link's Awakening because he was playing it earlier today.
Yeah, on the other hand, I don't fucking use the hint system because I'm not bad at video games.
Wooly, who do you think?
I think it's Specs.
I think it's you, Specs.
Ah, you would be wrong to think it is me, Specs.
I think it's Specs. He's making it more convincing now.
Pointing at Moogle for Ulrira is a little shaky, I think. And you're being very smarmy, so that's why I think you're lying.
That's just me.
Oh, he's got a point.
Please, everybody vote simultaneously by pointing your hands.
The finger of Fuckle is pointing at Specs.
Specs.
My Fuckle knuckle is pointing directly at Specs.
Can I make a vote for who I think is the actual Fuckle?
You can, but you won't win, but it could be like a, ha, I told you so.
I'm gonna go with Moogle, actually. He was my gut instinct initially.
Okay, well, I can now reveal that you have, in fact, lost the game, and the Fuckle has won.
Moogle!
Fuck you.
Oh, I was right, yes.
Fuckle you.
Hey, Fuckle you.
You should have got it on Outrunners. Moogle loves that game.
Yeah.
As if I would get a question on Outrunners wrong when I've been playing it for
I
like
did think that,
20
yeah.
hours in the past month.
I didn't know that, so...
Okay, you need to pay attention. You don't need to pay attention because he does it. Moogle does it,
He does
right?
it.
He does
it. He does it.
When Moogle is playing a video game series, he will not shut up about that series, okay?
I
I
won't.
know that.
Most recently, let me do you the last three. Hollow Knight,
Hollow Knight,
R-Type Final.
R-Type Final, and Outrunners.
Yep.
Firm up those abs.
I want to know if there's any weird rituals that any of you have related to things that you do in video games or things that you do in real life because you copied them or were influenced by video games.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I burn my house down every time I make spaghetti.
that's true.
Thanks, The Sims.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about my weird thing that I did, specifically in Super Paper Mario. In Super Paper Mario, there's like a light RPG system, so you level up and you can do more damage and stuff. You also can get cards of the enemies. They'll either drop from enemies sometimes, or you can buy an item that turns an enemy into a card. If you have one of these items, then it will double the damage that you do to that enemy. The weird thing I did was, I got tons and tons of Goomba cards to see how much damage I could do to a Goomba. That's not the weird thing. The weird thing is the way that I did it, because you can just buy them at the shop for like 10 gold or something, because it's a Goomba. You know, you could have 99 of these cards easily. But I instead would set myself the task of leveling up my attack power each time between getting a card and using it on a Goomba. So rather than just buying 99 of these and then like doing as much damage as I could, I specifically played a minigame that would get you like attack up things. I'd go there, do the minigame, come out, buy a card, go kill the Goomba, go back to the minigame. But I don't know why I did it, but it made me happy.
I'm sorry, I don't have any rituals for you, except the obvious one, which is saving twice every
yeah.
time.
Oh, God.
I do that, but that's only because I forget if I saved or not. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, every night before I turned off the game, I had like the pajamas on the mannequin and I would change into them and like turn the lights off in the room and then close my DS.
Nice.
Sadly, I don't think I've got anything. Other than the fact that I must reload in shooters when I have less than a full mag.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same.
I stopped doing that.
Yeah, another one of Specs' ones is that he will never ever heal no matter what.
Yes, yes. Like Specs, you can heal. You can use the full amount of the heal. No, it's fine. It'll be okay.
I might need that healing later.
But you needed it now.
That's another thing everyone does. Hoard items needlessly that you will just never use. Especially in JRPGs.
Yeah, I mean, I've always got, like, elixirs at the end of Final Fantasy games and stuff, and they never get used. we were playing The Evil Within recently, and we never used the Magnum.
Not once. We were saving it for the final boss, but the final boss is a fucking quick time event boss.
That's how it goes.
So it's like,
Of
oh,
course.
great. We leveled it up. We spent all of our fucking brain juice on maxing out the Magnum. Like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And you didn't fucking need it. Stupid.
Did not fire it once.
I had the opposite of that when I played Anachronox, because that game has like a mystery surprise final boss that comes out of nowhere, and I'd already spent all of my healing items on the thing that I thought was the final boss, because I was like, oh, end of the game, may as well use all of these.
There's another little thing I do in Monster Hunter, actually, which is probably something I think that a lot of people do, but literally every time I take something in or put something out of my inventory, I sort it.
You sort it?
Every single time.
Yes.
Okay, but the weirder thing that you do in Monster Hunter, let's talk about that.
No.
Would you like to describe it?
I collect all the hammers. That's all that can be said.
Describe it in more detail.
Do you have to collect every level of every hammer?
No. It's not every level of every hammer, but it's every single branch. So you know how you get like the bone branch of hammers?
Yep.
I have the basic bone hammer maxed out.
Yep.
And I have every single branch off of that family maxed out as well.
Okay, that's fair enough.
The really funny thing about it is, though, she sorted her inventory so that there are gaps in, like, the slots where there aren't hammers that she needs.
You don't sort your equipment box then?
I don't sort my equipment box.
Yeah, okay, because that would ruin it.
No, Specs has threatened to sort my equipment box once, and I was like, if you do that, I will never speak to you again, because the amount of time that I spent, because it's not just hammers as well. I have about 50 long swords, 50 or so dual blades, and like a lot of hunting horns as well. And I have like 2 pages for each weapon, like set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have them sorted into the order that they are on Kiriniko as well. And I have my like armor page too. And if you sorted it, I do not know how long it would take me to get everything back into the right. It would take me at least probably an hour and a half.
So I used to do what you do, and then I accidentally sorted it once, and then I haven't changed it since because I was like, fuck this.
I would just delete my save.
Now I've thought of another couple. I know everyone does this, and if you don't do this, what the fuck is wrong with you? Resident Evil 4, you sort your attaché case.
Absolutely, of course.
Like, you play Tetris.
You have to do that in that game.
That's like a fundamental mechanic of the game.
No, but I mean, you don't just sort it. You organize it so that you've got all of your like single types of grenades in order. All of your ammo is either like vertically arranged next to the gun, or is like all in one corner so that it's specifically done.
The correct arrangement is across the top you have your grenades and your herbs, and then you have your ammo, and then at the bottom you have your guns.
No, you framed the entire case with grenades, and then you never use them.
Oh god.
Do any of you ever play Diablo 2?
Yeah,
I played
did
it
actually,
briefly.
but I didn't really like it.
Yeah, Diablo 2 had a Tetris inventory system where all the things are different shapes and they all fit into one another. However, there's an item in that game called the Heradric Cube, which was a 2x2 box that had like a 5x5 box inside it.
Oh no.
So my standard Diablo 2 like thing was to like go out, jam my cube full of stuff, come back, and then have to spend like 5 minutes taking things progressively out of the cube and fucking like, oh god, why Blizzard? Why did you do that?
What else do I do in video games? Oddly enough, can you guess which game it is, Specs?
Hollow Knight.
Correct, Hollow Knight. There are enemies in the game that become friendly after a certain point that bow to you. I would bow to every single one as I went by them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I would think.
Also, when bosses die, there's like prolonged animation for them dying. The right stick is mostly unused in the game, but you can use it to look up and down instantly. And there's a little animation when you do so I headbang when bosses are dying. Because you can just mash that stick and it will just bang the head up and down.
That's fun.
Okay, shit, I have remembered one. Moogle reminded me. In Mega Man 1 and also in all the Castlevania games, when you defeat a boss, an orb drops from the ceiling.
Yes!
You have to jump and catch the orb. If you fail to catch the orb in midair, restart the level.
Yeah.
Willie, you got anything weird that you've done in games?
Moonwalk upstairs to Simon Belmont.
Yeah.
Yes!
Feel the burn in your thighs and abs.
I'm going to give you a choice now between DeviantArt roulette,
Ooh.
God.
and hedgehog roulette.
We've done that before.
I swear we've done that before on podcast.
DeviantArt roulette it is.
Okay.
Okay. On DeviantArt, go into the literature category.
Oh, fuck me. This is going to be awful.
You're each going to have a minute to find the best thing you can possibly find about anything. And the person who finds the best thing will get a cat's point, which so far can only be used to make me say things in the Pat Guy voice, but maybe something else will as well. Ding, ding, ding. Time is over. I'll begin. Mine is a free verse poem. Mine is a free verse poem called Rooftop. Rooftop, few hundred feet up. How did I get here? Not sure. But I know where I'm going. Sorry.
I don't think we should be laughing at that, really.
No, that's not a laughing one.
Moogle, what have you got?
Not a lot, to be honest with you. I'm only going to read the title because it's relevant to me as an individual. And it just says, Chapter 1, The Wrong Train.
It's the wrong train, Gromit!
God damn it, if I'd scrolled down one more column, there was one that begins warning contains diapers and AVDL themes. Shiny, it's you.
I've got one that's like a piece of prose called Silly Secretary, in parentheses, bimbo. And it seems to just be like a role reversal thing. Like she's hired a fucking idiot secretary, and then at the end it's got something about her pressing her melons against him, and like, I don't know, it's very weird. I don't think anything rude actually happens though, looking at this. What do silly secretaries do? Like, make their bosses feel better with their soft mouths and big fat cock pillows.
Ooh.
That's the last piece of dialogue in this.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Impressive.
Specs, what do you got?
So, initially I thought I might read SpongeBob's Ponyville Adventure, Season 1, Episode 3. But then I came across Japan Cricket, Chapter 3. Okay? Now, what's weird about this one is half of it seems to be written in noises.
Love it.
So, the opening is, I'll try my best to pronounce these, Sotai Okinakanin. But then there's a little bit of prose, and then, knowing more, some other forms, something good, swing your arms about like a bat. And then, right, okay, Sota Waya Toshinai Dare. So it's clearly trying to be Japanese, but it all just runs together in like the paragraph. It's not like none of the words are separated. And then the next word is Watafitikri. Which looks like someone's tried to write what the fuck and make it sound Japanese, but it's all just very odd.
Can I take mine back? I've just found general fiction about the Hulk being born.
If you must.
Yes.
But he wasn't the Hulk.
Read us an excerpt of the Hulk being born.
The baby was almost at full crown, a green orb the size of a 2-year-old's head stuck in her vagina.
Jesus.
Oh my god, yes.
The expulsion phase of this birth had been incredibly slow going. He had attended a few births during his time in India, but had never seen a woman stretch this far.
Oh, good.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, whose perspective is this?
Mine.
Imagine trying to dislocate the Hulk. Jesus.
It'd be a lot of work, but I'd make it work.
Ma'am, I'm afraid you've given birth to a watermelon. Shouldn't have eaten all those seeds. Happy man, it's time for you.
It was just another day in Oz when the flying monkeys decided to unionize.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
Whose is the best? I don't actually know how we judge in this segment, but my vote is probably for Happy Man's.
Yeah.
Happy Man's was
Yeah,
very good.
I'd say so.
Let's do it.
The wizard had made work unions illegal not too long ago after a Munchkin revolt occurred. Really couldn't blame them for doing that though. I too would be upset if my job was going to be replaced by a Tin Man. There was also the matter regarding the lack of ladders, grabby things, and tornado insurance. But that's a story for another time.
Very good.
Like it.
It's good. That's good.
Let's get a good stretch.
Next thing, we need to talk about our book club video game, which is Liero, which
Fuck yeah.
it's been like a month since we played it, so memories are hazy.
It's more than a month.
It's been like nearly 2 months.
So I'll introduce Liero to the world. This is Liero. It is like a real-time version of Worms Armageddon, kinda? It's made by Finnish people, I think, and it's from way back in the day, but there's open source versions that are still
Really old.
maybe being updated. Yeah, but you can play them online. So we played online together. What's everyone's thoughts? Who wants to kick us off?
Liero should have stayed in my past. I loved that game when I was a kid, but it's not good now.
I never played it as a kid, but I quite enjoyed it.
I also enjoyed it. I found the controls a little bit fiddly because it's all keyboard control. You can't use the mouse to aim, which is quite difficult when you're moving fast because your main method of traversal is ninja roping. So when you're moving fast on the ninja rope, it's very difficult to aim, but also very fun.
I liked it at the time, but because we played Soldat afterwards, it's just completely eviscerated my opinion of Liero.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think Liero has better movement.
I mean, I love the ninja rope. I wish there were more games with grappling mechanics like that in multiplayer, but the controls kind of kill it for me.
Yeah, I think the lack of ease of aiming is quite difficult in Liero to make it it makes it very difficult to play. The word I'm looking for is competitively, but we do have the #1 ranked European player of Liero in the world.
I was never #1, I was high though.
You weren't #1?
No,
My life is a lie!
I never said I was #1, I said I was one of the top ranked.
Tell us about the strats. Tell us how you learn to shoot good in Liero, Willy.
Basically, all people play online is mortars only, where you fire these kind of slow projectiles that make big explosions. That's the only weapon allowed. Normally there's all these weapon packs, which Catsman pushed towards playing. I only wanted to do mortars.
It's like people who play Counter-Strike and then only play D-Dust 2. Like, the game has content, use it. The problem with Liero's weapon packs is that most of them are dreadful.
Yeah, we played with one that was based on fireworks, and almost all of them were bad, but for some reason we could also shoot bees, and bees seemed to do the most.
The bees
Yes,
one.
the bees were excellent. Also, the thing that just propels you all the way across the level in one shot, which was quite fun.
The gardener was great as well.
Oh,
Do you
God.
remember the gardener?
Fuck the gardener.
The gardener, you shoot a projectile that looks like a little dinosaur that then explodes into flowers, and then the flowers can do damage as well. It's weird.
I enjoyed ninja roping onto everyone and everyone getting really annoyed.
Oh yeah, you can attach to other players with the ninja rope, which was really fun.
Yes.
We made a train of people and just flew around the level.
Pendulously swinging round each other like Happy's phone across his legs.
It's one of those games where you can just draw a picture and then it'll automatically collision map it, right? So
It doesn't automatically collision map it, but it is very easy to make maps. You just draw a picture, one without the breakable objects in it, and one with the breakable objects, and the game will put them together and make a map. Where you can just dig through stuff. It's really intuitive.
you've always got a command that lets you dig. You never run out of the ability to dig, and you never run out of ninja ropes, so those are the ways you get around. Were there team game modes in Liero?
Yeah.
Yes.
We played quite a fun few games of Capture the Flag. Yeah, Capture the Flag was good.
Yeah, the movement system makes it really great.
Yeah, the movement system makes it engaging. I mean, Capture the Flag is always good in games, I think.
It's fun. It's nice that you've got the option. I was playing Worms Armageddon yesterday, actually, and playing with the ninja rope on that as well made me think, you know what? Ninja rope is one of the most fun movements in, any game I've ever played, I think.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Everyone loves the grappling hook.
More games should have grappling hooks. It's just always an improvement.
Should we talk about Soldat to compare as well? Because it's a very similar game.
Soldat is another, again, freeware game from that era, but perhaps slightly after. Again, based on a similar concept, but there's no ninja rope in it. There's a jetpack instead, which is good, but not quite as good. And there's more realistic weaponry, which I think just works better with the concept. As fun as Liero's weapons are, they're not balanced, whereas Soldat is okay, now let's make an actual game.
Yeah, it did feel a bit more balanced, and it's easier to aim because you have mouse aiming rather than just keyboard.
The movement is still good. You can do lots of like cool movement in it, and yeah, I'm a fan of Soldat. It's quite a relaxing game.
There was some fun game modes in that as well. There's like a Juggernaut mode, isn't there, where you can pick up a bow and arrow, and if you have the bow and arrow, you're really hard to kill.
Oh, that mode was broken.
You get like kills in one hit with the bow and arrow, and the like person who gets the most kills as the bow and arrow wielder wins. Capture the flag, obviously. There was bomb drop as well, or something, where you have to get into the enemy base and then drop a bomb in there.
That was terrible.
I like that. But yeah, very similar games. I think definitely Liero's movement is more wacky and fun, and with bazookas only, like we started off playing with, that was quite fun to swing around and just accidentally hit like your own rocket or someone else's rocket. It was cool. But Soldat, definitely an easier game to play, more accessible.
So that's a much more recent game. Like Liero was like a little bit long in the tooth when I started playing Soldat at the time, and I followed Soldat from quite an early version of the game.
It was released 2002, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, and it was influenced by Liero and a game called Scorched Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Scorched Earth is the same game that Worms is based off of.
Yep.
Ah, okay. Liero was fun, Soldat was fun. They're both good games. Worth a play with some friends, probably, just for a muck about.
Yeah, Finnish people, now please tell us that we're pronouncing the word Liero incorrectly.
So, Zexu's Finnish, and I was like, I learnt another Finnish word recently, Liero, it means worm, and she was like, no. I was like, what? But yeah, that's book club games. Oh, we should pick a next book club game. Do we want to do Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill?
Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill.
So, Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill is an unreleased game that was planned to be made for SNES and Mega Drive, I think.
I think just SNES.
You play as the president's cat.
President Bill Clinton's cat.
Yeah, Bill Clinton's cat, as you try to unearth, like, White House secrets and things like that, from what I understand. It was recently released because someone got their hands on a demo copy of it. Apparently it works all the way through, so we were thinking it might be fun to do.
Yeah, I'm down.
Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill.
Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill.
It's got a good rhythm to it.
The box art has a picture of Bill Clinton playing the sax, and Socks is coming out of the saxophone. Anyway, we will play Socks the Cat Rocks the Hill. I'll stream it probably when I'm playing it, and we'll stick it on YouTube. If you'd like to play along with us and send your opinions to us, then maybe do that.
Or don't.
Maybe.
Yeah, do what you like. I'm not the boss of you.
Let's step up the pace.
I want to talk about double foods.
What?
Double foods.
What's that mean?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example, right? Egg mayonnaise.
Yeah, it's fine.
Think about it. You're eating eggs in a sauce that's also made from eggs.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like if you dipped chips in mashed potatoes.
So we're talking about like a toast sandwich.
Toast sandwich, another example, classic.
Gravy of any kind, then, if you're using the same thing as the meat that you're having gravy with, is the same thing, though. And gravy's perfectly fine.
Yeah. But I think that the double food is a uniquely British concept.
No.
Only this bullshit country.
No. It's in French cooking as well.
All the examples of double foods I can think of are from this country.
What about stock?
Exactly.
Does that count?
Stock.
Like, if I use beef stock in my beef stew, is that a double food?
That's a double food.
Everywhere does that.
Well, yeah, everywhere does stock. But only Britain does, like... Actually, no, I say that. The KFC Double Down counts as double food, obviously.
Oh,
Which one is the double down?
God,
Is that the chicken burger in between two chicken burgers?
Yeah, it's just, instead of bread, there's two fucking pieces of greasy pieces of fried chicken that you're supposed to hold in your hand.
That's the one.
It's fucking terrible.
But then what's in the middle? Just more chicken?
More chicken.
Yeah.
And like vegetables and sauce.
Do any of them taste different, or is it three
No.
of the same pieces of chicken?
It just tasted like fat.
That's what it is.
I would respect the double down if there was bread in the middle.
That was way funny. Like that sandwich that's just a giant sausage with a piece of bread in the middle.
Oh
Yes,
no! Don't
yes.
make me think of that.
What you got to do is like get a massive sausage, split it down the middle, but not so that it cuts quite in half. Stick a massively long baguette in that giant sandwich. Cut that down the middle and put hot dogs all the way down the middle of those.
So we're going for like a turducken effect, but with a hot dog.
Oh
Yeah.
god, this sounds like a fucking like something you'd see on one of those YouTube like Facebook food channels,
Oh,
like
God.
Tasty, just endless weird things made out of cut up hot dogs and melted cheese.
Yeah.
Now, an egg double food, eggs Benedict,
Yeah.
is eggs
Yeah.
served in egg sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer eggs Cumberbatch.
Haha.
Thanks for that one.
No.
And also arrive the batch.
Were we gonna try and make Happy Man eat a chip butty when he came over?
Yes.
Yes.
Also a
Next
crisp
time.
butty as well.
Crisp sandwich chip butty.
It's too much carbs. Do you put any sauce on it? What sauce?
No,
you don't. You don't. It's just.
No sauce.
No, you just use a lot of butter, so it's really like
No.
buttery.
I don't want my French fries covered in butter.
They're not French fries; they're chips.
I don't want my chips covered in butter.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
You don't know it yet, but you do.
What the fuck is the difference between French fries and chips?
French fries are
French
skinny
fries
and
are
chips
skinny,
are
chips
fat.
are fat. Yeah.
Do you want to see if, when you come up to Leeds, if we can get our hands on a good old pie balm? Because we're not too far from Uddersfield.
What? Remind me what a pie balm is.
A pie
It's a
balm.
pie
It's a
sandwich.
pie sandwich.
Why would I not just eat a pie?
That was a great workout.
Hey, it's me, Mario. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, Gentlemen Discussing Video.
Ladies Brunch Club.
You have been listening to Specs. Hello, it's me, Specs. Goodbye. Catsman.
Forget about it.
Mooglepies.
Bibbidi-bop.
Shinymissingno.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Woolyshambler.
Swing your arms from side to side.
If you would like to see more from us, visit lunchtime.org.uk or find us on YouTube at TheGLASTREAM. We also stream to Twitch at TheCatsman. And we've got a Discord, but I can't be bothered to figure out what the link is to that. Goodbye!
You okay, Mario? You're sounding a bit like someone from the Midlands at the end of that there.
I need to drink more.
Same.
Mood.
Can't believe Mario came to our Discord.
Rock me, baby. Baby. Rock me, baby. Baby.
That's right.
Baby. 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 Baby.
You know what? Streets of Rage is the one beat 'em up I'm gonna forgive.
What, for being a beat 'em up?
For what?
Streets of Rage, you're forgiven.
For being a beat 'em up.
Yes,
You don't like beat 'em up as a genre.
That's valid.
I like Streets of Rage.
Beat 'em ups are shit.
I like Streets of Rage. I like Streets of Rage 2 as well.
You remember fucking like Golden Axe? When I was a kid, Golden Axe was like the shit. Now that I'm an adult, I realize Golden Axe was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, Golden Axe blows.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Golden Axe is hard to love. Streets of Rage is good. Final Fight is decent. Like, there's a couple of others as well.
Final Fight isn't great.
I mean, Final Fight is the Streets of Rage, but slightly better.
Final Fight is Streets of Rage, but slightly worse. Those 16-bit console wars haven't died, clearly.
No, I prefer playing Streets of Rage, but like I have to recognize that as a game, there's a lot more to Final Fight than there is to Streets of Rage. Now, Streets of Rage 2, on the other hand, is a very different story, and that's probably a better game than Final Fight is.
How do you feel about River City Ransom?
I was about to say, I love River City.
I enjoy
I
it.
love River City Ransom.
River City Ransom gets a pass because it's not just a beat 'em up. It's got other weird stuff going on in there as well.
Role-playing elements.
Yeah.
There's a new one recently, wasn't there? I haven't played it yet.
Yes, River City Girls. I want to play it.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about River City Girls. There was another River City reboot called... It might have just been called... It was like River City Reboot or River City Remaster, something like that. On Steam, bought it, it was terrible.
Pity.
Like, dropped it after about 4 hours. Just wasn't fun. Wasn't good at all.
If you like Streets of Rage, play Streets of Rage Remake, by the way, which is like a freeware like thing that got made. And during Sega's like slightly less nice days, they DMCA'd it, so it didn't keep getting worked on. But it's functionally finished and like plays really well. I would recommend it. River City Girls also has like a long-haired, red-headed girl who does a dab as one of her special moves. So like that means that Shiny's definitely gonna have to play it at some point.
Representation.
Yeah. It's like it's just a dab. That's all it is, and it hits people. That's fundamentally all it is.
It hits people like she hits that dab.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, what people, future historians, will look back at this as a dark age. They'll say, "Oh, that's how you can recognize culture from the what am I going to call this decade?
Dark Age, Beppo, or Dab.
The tens.
The noughties.
No, we're not in the noughties. The noughties were last decade.
Yeah, noughties. Let's not have
The
those
tens then.
yeah, but it's weird calling them the tens.
The
isn't
tweens.
it?
Teens?
Teen.
The teens.
The roaring teens.
The new tens. How about that?
The new tens.
I'm so excited for the next Roaring 20s. It's going to be great.
It's gonna roar so much. Oh man.
It's just going to
But
be
with
a
a W.
strangled cry from the bottom of the barrel. That's what it's going to be.
New Great Depression.
Yeah.
New Great Depression.
Yeah.
I want to get one of them bindles, full of like bits of stuff, seeds.
Dark Age, Bindle, or Dab. There you go.
I'm gonna live in a giant wooden barrel strapped over my chest. With only a hat.
That totally scans. That is on brand.
Yeah. I'm surprised you've not worn that to a meet-up already.
What a barrel.
A barrel in your broken Converse, and that's it.
It's hard to get a barrel through airport security. Yeah.
It's true.
We should have one ready for the next meet-up.
I mean, on the plus side, it means that he won't be swinging his phone from his pocket like a pendulum constantly and just whacking things over.
No, he'll dangle it like a clockweight from beneath his testicles.
From the bottom of the barrel. Where's Monty is the question. Is he still on the run after all these
Monty
years?
Mole, he's in like 6 different games.
That's true.
Monty Mole has been in a lot more games than, I don't know, fucking, who's new in Smash?
I mean,
Bayonetta. He's been in more games than
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, he's been in more games than Bayonetta.
And Banjo-Kazooie.
was Monty in the latest Mario Party? Or
Yeah,
was that
man.
someone else?
Actually, Bayonetta's been in 5 games I can think of, so
Monty's been in 6.
we just need to find one more game that Bayonetta's been in.
If not Monty, I would settle for a Sinclair C5 as like an item. No one wants to talk to me about the Sinclair C5.
Nobody
We'll fight.
knows.
I don't know what it
anything
is.
I don't know
about
what
Was
that
the
is.
Sinclair the little
C5.
vehicle that they
What
that
is
he tried to make?
Sinclair, Clive Sinclair invented the Sinclair ZX81 and
Did.
ZX
What
Spectrum,
the fuck are you
which were
talking about?
I know
which
about
were the
ZX
defining
Spectrum.
the defining British personal computers of like the early 80s. And then he was like, right, the next thing I will invent is a shitty electric car. So he invented this thing that was like, it was like the size of a go-kart. It was like made out of like really thin plastic. It went about 15 miles an hour max. And you were no more than like 2 to 3 feet off the ground while riding it.
Inches.
And he was like, yeah, so this is gonna Well, no, your head was no more than a couple feet off the ground.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, so this is going to replace the car, and people are going to ride it on roads with, like, actual vehicles.
The fun part is the media believed him, and they went on this massive hype train of Sir Clive Sinclair's going to make the electric car that's going to be the vehicle of the future.
So yeah, if you're listening to this, give a Google of Sinclair C5. It's an amazing piece of, like, 80s design.